let me bring in Rachel Campos-Duffy. You know, Rachel, we know that polls show that Americans overwhelmingly approve of this temporary moratorium. Everyone thinks it's more or less common sense in the age of terrorism. So we know the White House, their PR or public relations may be a victory for them tonight, but the legal aspect of this and the authority of the president being undermined to this degree has got to be worrisome.
It is. And again, I think the Democrats are playing with fire here. God forbid something happens where refugees, as your guest said, might start flooding in. And if one of these terrorists infiltrates the refugee population and something happens, boy, Democrats are going to be in a lot of trouble with that. That said, look, I mean, the
hold on one second. Let me just share. Rachel, I'm going to come right back to you, but I got to share with the audience because President Trump tweeting, "See you in court. The security of our nation is at stake." Go ahead, Rachel.
Amen.
Well, and that tweet's perfect timing. So, yeah, I mean, he's putting now the security of the country on the backs of the Democrats, saying, hey, if something goes wrong, it's your fault in the interim until we get to court and solve this. But again, the American people are with the president on this, but he does have to take responsibility for the fact that it was handled in a way that was very ham-handed and sort of set him up for this. So I think that there's enough blame to go around, but this is the security of our country. This is no small matter. This
if it is, then write another order. If it is, then write another order.
But I fundamentally disagree. Like, I agree that everything was rolled out very poorly, but that does not change the law and the fact that it was a lawful constitutional executive order. Now, the rollout was messy, but you know what? Anytime this rollout is going to happen, it's going to be messy. It could have gone a lot smoother, but that doesn't change the law. So by saying that the court was somehow justified for this ruling because the rollout was messy, well, that to me doesn't make any sense if I'm a strict legal scholar.
Joe, let me ask you, though, Joe, we agree. I'm going to let you go, Joe, but I just want to also throw this at you as well. I think we all know because we know that, you know, how the public feels and there's evidence to prove it, but could this now sway the public to feel differently? You know, could the newspapers tomorrow say, hey, the court said it was unconstitutional, it was mean-spirited? Could they layer it on so thick that even at the court of public opinion, that pendulum starts to swing the other way?
Look, I think, Charles, this will help President Trump. He had history, the Constitution, and the law on his side, and I think this will help him with public opinion on his side. And I got to say this. Even if the rollout were perfect, man, there would have been protests, there would have been legal challenges because Donald Trump has proposed a major course correction. The opposition would have been all over him no matter what. Even if this were rolled out seamlessly, he's changing the paradigm, and there are people in this country who will refuse to accept it.
We've just heard from the Department of Justice. They say they are reviewing the decision and considering their options. We saw today, Steve, a situation where someone who was here illegally for a long period of time was deported. A public uproar out of this world. Crazy. We know that these are going to be scenes that are going to be commonplace. So again, this is a tricky area that we're going in because a lot of laws of America have not been enforced for a long time.
And Charles, but I understand the other side to the story, and it's something that I think has been confirmed, that this individual was arrested before, had some sort of a felony conviction. President Trump has said that he's going to go after people with felony convictions first. And I've got to tell you, Charles, it's about national security, protecting the American people. And what this court did, I hope to God doesn't become catastrophic. It's going to have they're worried about chaos at the airports. How about chaos in our cities and towns across America if that decision creates a terrible situation here?
You know, guys, we are mired listen, the American public voted for this. They did not like the direction of the country. They did not like the idea of waking up and finding out that a discotheque was blown up or people were mowed down, innocent folks in the street. Europe, we've seen the bloodbath that that's becoming, yet this is going to be just a tooth-and-nail battle, and you got to wonder, and Kelly, I'll ask you this. No, let me ask you, Rachel, because I don't have you for much longer.
Sure.
Is the GOP going to stand shoulder to shoulder with President Trump all the way through on this, do you think, even if the public relation tide turns?
I think they are. Again, they know that he was elected saying that he was going to do extreme vetting. Again, this was not a ban. No matter what CNN or any of the press says, this was a pause, a 90 to 120-day pause to look at the vetting system that was in place by the Obama administration to see if it meets the standards of the Trump administration. And frankly, I have a lot of questions. Why are Christians being banned from refugee status? Why is there such a preponderance of Muslims as opposed to Yazidis and Christians who are truly persecuted there? There's a lot of questions people have about the vetting process. And it just seems sensible to say, let's take a pause. Let's take a look at 90 days. I think it's totally defensible for the Republicans to go shoulder to shoulder with him on this, because I think the American people understand that this is just common sense.